Today marks 1245th day sharing lessons I learned and continue to learn with all of you. My hope that these insights will inspire you, support your dreams, help you achieve your goals, and will empower you to become the person that you want to become. Today I speak about a very deep topic, and that is volunteering. And I think that you will never heard that before. The topic that I will share today. What specific volunteering I will speak about, you will get in a minute, but I'd love to really just discuss a little bit just a basic surface on volunteering. Because we're able to volunteer our time, we're able to volunteer our finances, our money, we're able to volunteer our energy and give energy. There's a lot of resources that are able to volunteer and give away. And of course, you understand that volunteering is like is a service to others, but I think that volunteering is partly service to ourselves because it brings joy, brings bliss, it brings fulfillment, significance. There's so many things coming out of volunteering. That's a great part, and we always supposed to focus. Okay, how we could add value because adding value is volunteering. Adding value is volunteering. So you mentoring, but volunteering your time. Of course, not unless you get paid, but still, I think that there's always great way to define. Okay, how we could volunteer because volunteering is supposed to be like not expecting anything in return. Otherwise, it's just a job or a hobby or a business, not volunteering. So today, we really want to focus on the deeper level of volunteering. And of course, because I was just thinking about it just last hour, of course, it might be that I will still feel that I will think through while I'm speaking because I think it's a very powerful topic. And what is that? That I think that we're able to really volunteer to suffering, volunteer to suffer. And what I mean by that, I think that we're able to really have a path to achieve success, to go through the struggles. I think that's what is very, very powerful to really choose a life to volunteer to be the person who goes through the struggles that other people are not willing to go through. Because probably you ever heard that story 1,000 times, maybe a million times, that there was Bannister who was able to hit finally 4 minutes per mile, and after that there's 1,000 people who were able to achieve that. And I think that this is partly volunteering, training hard enough, pursuing hard enough, working hard enough to really make something happen that other people was not willing or not are ready to achieve. I think that sometimes being able to go through that suffering, that we could be the person that light at the end and show that this is possible. This is possible. And I think that this is very, very, very important that people are sometimes able to suffer for 10, 20, 30 years and they don't give up because they have that volunteering mindset that I will persevere because I want to show example to other people. So I will volunteer my life for my dedication. Have you ever thought that you can volunteer your life? Not just money, not just time, not just energy, but your life. Volunteer your life because your life will show example and it will add value, inspire people, inspire. Such a powerful, even thought that people willingly go to pain, loss, adversity, not as a victim, but as a seeker of truth, of significance, of righteousness. There's so many things that we're able to really go through pain because we know that through that we're able to achieve something meaningful. So basically, those volunteers are entering in the fire. So the call to enter the fire. So that means that people are going through grief, extreme fear, and really enduring physical or mental suffering. Because I think that there are so many people who are suffering. But not every single person is willing to accept that suffering and go through that suffering because I know that, including myself, that when we have that suffering, when we have that pain, what we want to do is that start living in denial, cover up all those pain, not think about it, even though there's a problem, but because you don't think about it, you forget about the problem. And sometimes we need to say, okay, there is a problem, there is suffering, and I'm able to go through it and there's to really go and find what is in that other side. So go through that fire because if you went for the fire and then you say that and have that light and say that if you will go through the same thing, you end up where I am right here. So being able to be a guide, helping other people to go through the fire to get to where you're at, because there's unknown uncertainty, and people don't want to go uncertainty to ambiguity. And people who volunteer in their life, they're able to go to ambiguity, to that unknown, and because you went through it, now you're able to really help other people. Say like, if you will go through it, you will end up exactly where I am right now. It's very powerful. The dark night, the dark night of the soul. What's on other side? This is a very powerful statement. Is what is the other side? And I think that I really start sharing that, because most people stop. They go pursue something meaningful and they turn back. They escape to distraction, because I think that a lot of times people quit, and some people just don't want to call themselves quitters. And what they do, they camp. They camp. That means if you look into the mountain, so they start climbing the mountain, and some people say, I don't want to climb this mountain anymore. I'm turning back and I'll go back to where I started. But other people climb, and then they stuck in one area, and they camp and they camp and they camp and camp, and they said, I will go. This is my goal. But they camp in the same and in the same elevation, and they never climb anymore. And I think that this is the same as giving up, but I think that's even worse, because living in the delusion, hoping that you will go forward, but you're not going. So that means you're living in a dream that you will never pursue because you're not taking action. And of course, that will lead to massive regrets. I think the person who gave up, maybe they will have a massive regret, but I don't think that the person who actually always believed in it and lives in that delusion. And I think that sometimes people just start to lie to themselves that that journey, that mountaintop, is not worth it. And even when I think about myself as well, that I never think about giving up. But what I was thinking about, and what a question that I used to ask is, that's exactly the question: is it worth it? Is it worth it to really pursue something that other people don't want to pursue? Is it worth it to pursue something that's outside of society or outside of the matrix, and to pursue something totally different that majority of people do? Is it worth it to really sacrifice some months, years to really developing, growing, improving, challenging myself, really doing something that's as hard and impossible, sometimes even separating from people? Is it worth it? And it's interesting that I was reflecting on all the speakers that I was listening to, and I was listening to one speaker who said that success and significance required 1,000 times more than he ever thought. It took everything and even more out of him to achieve their success and significance. But at the end, it's like everything what they achieved, everything what I was able to do, it was worth it. And I think that that's again, people who are volunteering their life. I think that they understand that it's worth it, because I think that if you will volunteer this life, and there'll be people who will get massive value out of your life, I think that is worth it. And because I think that people who volunteer their life, they're able to go through it, and they're able to see what is beyond the suffering, what is beyond that pain, what is beyond all those things that other people are turning back or avoiding. Um, Number four is, like I would love to mention, is the story you bring back. And this is very beautiful, because I think that when you're going through depression, I think that we're able to come back, and it's everything what they share so far is very intertwined, because everything that you're going through, so that means that you go through the grief, and then of course you persevere that, and in the end there's something that you lessons that you learned, and the things that you learned. So you come back to the people that you love, come back to the society, come back to wherever you left, and then you're able to really share the story, what you found after loss, what you found after pain, what you found after grief, what you found after depression, what you found after um, transcendence, and all those things. I think that's great to be able to express and communicate yourself, because now you have a story to tell. And I think that stories connects people, stories really educate people, stories sticks with us. And when it's able to share a story of that journey, of that hero journey, I think that we're able to impact people much more than being able to say, you need to do this because of this. But when you're able to go and share how everything went, I think it's much more powerful. The last thing that what I want to mention is that this is a choice. Will you choose to volunteer for this? Will you choose to volunteer your life to really achieve and add value to people, to inspire people, to aspire people, to really make a difference and significant difference in one person's life, in two people's life, in three people's life, in thousands or millions of people's lives? Because I know it's difficult. It's sometimes it's hard to keep moving forward. Sometimes it's we want to really slow down, or we don't have positive thoughts. We have maybe even negative thoughts. But being able to really find yourself strength in every single day and pursue the things that we need to pursue, I think this is a beautiful volunteering opportunity. Have you ever thought that you're able to volunteer your life? Have you ever thought that when you volunteer your life, it will not show up immediately? That means that when you volunteer your life, that means that it's almost a legacy. That means that you will need to work on it for decades until you'll be able to really say that my volunteer actually gave benefit. And I think that in all nonprofits is like this, because I think that I used to volunteer as well to a lot of different nonprofits and organizations, and we used to deliver in one nonprofit delivered food, and people used to be very appreciative. But when you think about that food, and kids used to get that food, and then adults, but I think that when that kid receiving that food and he has a full stomach with food, now he's able to focus not just thinking about food, but now he's finally have ability to really start to educate him, improve himself. Because if you're always constantly hungry, the only thing that you're able to think about survival, where my next meal is. But when your meal is ready and you're able to eat, at that moment you start to think about other things. So I think that, and that kid, because he had chance to really educate, improve himself, now in 10 years he will be able to really inspire other people and make a difference as well. So I think that all nonprofits are long-term game, and all volunteering is long-term game. And even though that sometimes we see immediate results, but I think that a lot of things that the true results are coming tenfold after a couple of years or 10 years, because that effort, that significance, that change, that making a difference compounds, and that other person who you helped start to add value to other people, and it just momentum builds, massive momentum builds. So how would you reflect as well on that? Because it's such an interesting topic, volunteering your life. So I hope you just win. See you tomorrow.